This is part 2 from the other video because someone called my phone and it shut the video off. I hate when people do that. But so the story that I was telling you before was when I was taking care of my mom. Oh, my hair is terrible. I was taking care of my mom and I was pregnant, and I had started giving birth, and I had to drive myself to the hospital. So, you know, I drove myself to the hospital, and some nurse was with me through my whole delivery. Like, I didn't have no family members there. It was just me. I gave birth alone, you know, and then couldn't have my mom wasn't there like she was for my first birth, you know, because she was sick with Alzheimer's. So that was that. So then I got back home. I had to take care of a newborn baby and my mom at the same time. I was still paying my mom's bills, doing everything that I was supposed to do. And my mom's sugar, when my baby started turning 2, my mom's sugar, she was diabetic. It started like going out of control, you know, like it started like spiking up to like 600. So this one time I said, Mommy, you gotta go to the hospital because your sugar is kind of high. And I called the EMS truck to come get her, and she was crying. And I was like, why are you crying? And I was sick at the time too, so I couldn't go to the hospital like I really wanted to, because I was on prednisone, which is steroids, which lowers your immune system. And you know, you could get sick, and I got a baby, I got my mom, I couldn't afford to get sick. So because I was taking care of everybody. So I was like, okay, well, she probably shouldn't be in the hospital that long. So that was on a Wednesday, and on a Saturday they called me and they like, well, you could come get your mom because we got her sugar under control. I'm like, yes, okay, I could go get my mother. That was Saturday. She told me I could come get her Sunday. So that night I got a phone call, and I usually cut my phone off, but this night I didn't cut my phone off for some reason. And I got a call at 12 o'clock in the morning, and it was like Beaumont. And so I was like, I answered it. And the doctor was like, your mom went into cold blue. You need to come up here immediately. I didn't know what cold blue was. I'm like, cold blue? What? Okay, let me just get up there. I know what cold blue is now. And whenever I'm in the hospital and I hear it, it sends like chills through my body, because I know what it means now. And when I got to the hospital, the doctor took me in a room. I didn't know nothing about that either. When a doctor take you in a room, it's never good. That's going to be the image in my head for the rest of my life. So the doctor took me in a room and he said, we've been working on your mom for like, I can't remember how many minutes he said, but it was like we put her on a breathing machine, and I just wanted to see her. So I'm like, can I see her? They're like, yeah, we're going to bring her in the ICU and you could see her. So when I went in there to see her, her eyes were open, but it was like in a really fixed, weird position. Like she was looking at the ceiling, like, but it was just a glare. It seemed a little weird, but, you know, it seemed a little weird. So I instantly grabbed her hand and I said, Mommy, I'm here. I'm here, Mommy. And if you can hear me, squeeze my hand as tight as you can. And she seized. And she gave me this grip. Like, she grabbed my hand to let me know, like, I'm grabbing I can't talk to you, but I'm grabbing your hand. She squeezed my hand so hard. And then she let go. And then her eyes was fixed in a different position. And nurses ran in and they were like, you're going to have to step out. You're going to have to step out. And I'm like, why? She just grabbed my hand. But after she grabbed my hand, I remember saying, Mommy, you can rest. I want you to rest and get your body back to normal. Just rest. That's all I remember saying. And when I said that, the nurses rushed in and they were like, you got to get out. You got to get out. And I'm like, but why? She just grabbed my hand. They said, you got to go. You got to get out. Her heart's about to stop again. And I remember walking down the hallway. And I remember like feeling this weird feeling. I didn't have the feeling to cry, but I got this weird feeling that I wanted to cry. And my sister was there, and I don't even know how many minutes passed. I was walking down the hall, and I just was thinking, like, what if she don't come back from this? I think it's when it really kicked in. And then when my sister called me, she called me niece. Everybody called me niece. She said, niece, come back. Niece, come back. And I'm like, did they get her heart started? Is she okay? And my sister said, yeah. And that sad feeling came. And I walked in the room, and it was so quiet. And I didn't hear anything. And I looked at her, and she was just laying there. And they said, I'm sorry, sweetie. She didn't make it. And it was like I was hit with like the most hardest thing you could get hit with in life. It was like, she gone? Just that quick? Only person that ever loved me, and she gone that quick. She waited. She squeezed my hand and she told me goodbye. I'm sorry, I don't want to cry. She squeezed my hand and she told me goodbye, and she waited for me to walk out the room, and she passed. But she squeezed my hand and she told me goodbye. And that was it. She was gone. And the part that I didn't realize while all of this was going on, the part that I didn't realize was God knew he was going to take my mom. He knew he was going to take my mom. So he gave me my baby in replacement. And that's why I could never get that abortion. That's why nothing will never come through. Because God's plans, you can't change God's plans. You can't change God's plans. He took us and then he gave us. Or he gave us and then he took us. So while I was trying to get rid of my baby's life, which sounds so mean, but it was the truth of things, he ended up saving my life later, because when I lost my mom, I was like, why am I here? Why did she leave me here? But now I have this little baby. So it was like, you don't have a choice but to stay here, because now you got another person you got to take care of. So that's why I have these things that says, keep going. I keep going for Micah and Mark. Those are my kids. I gotta keep going for them. So I asked the people, could they give me just give me 10 minutes with my mom after she passed. And I remember her laying there, and I kissed her. I kept kissing her on her forehead, and I kept telling her, I want to be okay. I want to be okay. I want to be okay, that you at peace now. And I was crying so hard. And I laid on her arms, because when I was little, I used to always love to lay in my mom's arms and go to sleep. And I laid on her arms, and her arms was so soft, and it was so warm. And I just wanted to lay there forever. I didn't want to move. I wanted to just lay in her arms. And I kissed her, and I kissed her, and I kissed her, because she was still warm. And I kissed her, and I'm like, I'm okay. 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 You're not suffering no more, so I'm okay. I'm okay. And then I thought back to when she squeezed my hand. She couldn't she couldn't verbally tell me goodbye, but she physically told me. And after that, I had to think of, I had no money how to bury my mom. Cremate her, because she wanted to be cremated. I had no money. And I was sick. I was getting really sick with my lungs. So my mom passed September 11th, and I went into the hospital September 21st. And the morgue was holding my mom because they was waiting for a payment. And I had to figure out how to get out the hospital to contact DHS to help me, at least get a little bit of money to help. So I snuck out the hospital to go fill out the papers for DHS to, she didn't have any insurance. There was no money saved to fill out the papers. And then I snuck back I didn't sneak back. I just came back to the hospital. I was so sick. I couldn't breathe. I was all jacked up. I think did I get C-Dep? I was so sick. I was so sick. So I filled out DHS papers. I was in the hospital from September 21st to October 31st. But out of all them times, I had to sneak out 2 times. So DHS paid a portion, and then they told me I had to pay the rest of the portion. So this time we're entering into October. But before that right there, when the Swansons got her body, I had to identify her. This was a little bit before I went into the hospital. So it was 3 days after she passed. So I went down to Swanson's. I didn't want to identify her body because I kept thinking, oh, she's going to be discolored. She's not going to look the same. She's going to be like this. But I had to do it. So I had to put on my big girl pants. And I went to Swanson's, and they told us that we could identify her. She didn't get embalmed, and she didn't get an autopsy. So she didn't get nothing done to her. So she was untouched. So when I went in the room, my mom was 71. I looked at her and I'm like, oh my God, she's so beautiful. Her color, we were the same color. Her color was, they had a little thing on her, like right here. And my mom was 70 years old. And if you could see my neck, my mom's neck looked the same way at 70. Not one wrinkle on her body. Not one. And I remember looking at her neck and looking at how pretty her color was. And I was like, she looks so beautiful. But she's dead. And I couldn't believe how beautiful my mom was in death. And that might sound so crazy, but she was not discolorated. She didn't have, her face was just at peace. She looked like she was literally just asleep. And I kissed her on her forehead again. I kissed her, but she was real cold. Because, you know, they had her in the freezer. She was real cold. But how beautiful she was. I couldn't even cry. Because I knew she wasn't suffering anymore. Like, she looked like, she just looked, that last view that I seen of her, it overrode the one that I seen in the hospital. So she looked it beautiful to me. She looked it so beautiful. And then after that, I went back into the hospital, and DHS paid for half. And so when she got her check, I wasn't supposed to do this, but when she got her check, I used her check to pay for the rest of it, and I had to pay them back for that. So don't ever do that with Social Security, because they will make you pay it back. And I snuck out the hospital the second time, and I paid the remainder balance for her cremation. When I got out of the hospital, October 31st, I went straight to the funeral home and I picked up her ashes. And I can always remember it was just always me and her, until she had my sister when I was 11. And when I went to pick up her ashes, all the flashbacks of all the things that me and her did when we didn't have a car when I was little. We would walk to the store. We would walk in the snow, and I would always bring a baby doll. And then I would get tired, and she would be like, well, you brought that baby doll, so you will carry it. All the flashbacks of all the things that me and her did when I was little. When it was me and her when I was a little kid. It was me and her again when I was grown. But this time she just wasn't alive. I just had her ashes. And I buckled her ashes up in the seatbelt, because that's what she would do when she would get in my car. And I cried so hard, because she was with me. She was just with me in a different form. It was just our ashes. And I used to ask God, why? The only person I ever had on this earth that was true love. Not love from a man. Not love from an aunt. Not love from a boyfriend. The love from a mother, a real mother. A real mother. That I can always remember, that gave me the best Christmases by herself, because my dad died when I was 4. She gave me the best Christmas. She gave me the best birthday parties. She got me what I needed. She was even when she was sick and I was pregnant, struggling, trying to put a baby bed together. She always kept my door open. She came in the house. She said, niece, what are you crying for? And I was like, mommy, I cannot get this bed because I need 2 people and I can't get it. And she was sick then. She was like, well, come on, I'm gonna help you. Even through her sickness, she still was like the greatest mom ever. She had her flaws because she was alcoholic for a couple of years. But she would always come over and be like, you want me to help you do something? You want me to wash some dishes? She would always help me with my dishes. This is when she was sick. This is when I was taking care of her and I was taking care of my baby. She never remembered who my baby was. She would always think that he was my sister's. She would think that he was my sister's baby. She could never remember that I had a baby, which was hurtful because she never really got a chance to know him. She passed when he was 2. Man, that's the most hardest. It seemed like that's when my struggle started. And now we fast forward all the way to here. And it's just me and my kids. And I want my kids to see me. I want my kids to be just as strong as me. Just like how my mom was strong. I want my kids to be able to look back at this and be like, my mom was struggling, but my mom, we didn't know. She still made it. She still got up and cooked us good meals, and she still did this and tried to do fun stuff. I want my kids to see me as I seen my mom through her sickness. So that's why I gotta keep going. And that's the story for today. Maybe I'll do another one later, but at least I got this one off my chest because I never really talk about it. But I did today, so miss my mom. People say, I understand. No, you don't understand. If you got a mom and dad, you don't understand. You don't understand. You will never understand unless you lost your mom. That's the only way you'll understand. I hate when people tell me they understand and they don't. They don't understand. They just say stuff just to say it. You don't understand. You could, if you lost your mom, then you know what I'm talking about. But if you haven't lost your mom, you don't have a clue. And especially if you had a good mom. And your mom was your only family. But that's that story. So hopefully I'll make another video later on.